In this session, let us completely understand how does this direct memory access method works in order to make a transfer to and from main memory to and from peripheral devices. Let us see how does it work. You know that there's a bus system, CPU holds the bus system, address bus, data bus, read line and write line. Okay, address, data, this is read and this is write. Okay, now CPU is holding the bus system. Every time when a transfer has to be made, then CPU is going to use the bus system to make a transfer by getting involved into the transfer, right? Now I just want to implement direct memory access method in my CPU. First things first, if you want to have a direct memory access method, first of all, we should use a DMA controller. This is called a DMA controller. This DMA controller is going to coordinate the DMA transfer. How exactly the DMA controller does work? Let us see. There is a peripheral device. This is peripheral device. And there is main memory. There is main memory. Okay. Now, forget about this line for a while. Now, whenever peripheral device want to make a transfer to the main memory, then peripheral device is going to make a DMA request. This is called a DMA request. This DMA request is stating that, Mr. DMA controller, please take the permission of the CPU to use the bus system directly. Okay, so that is peripheral device want to use the bus system directly without the intervention of the CPU. The moment DMA controller receives a request on the peripheral device, it is going to send a bus request to the CPU. This is called bus request. Okay, the moment bus request has been received by the CPU is going to acknowledge this request by tri-stating the buses. Okay, the moment a bus system has been tri-stated, there will be a direct channel established in between main memory and the peripheral device. So the moment bus request has been received, CPU is going to tri-state the bus system and it is going to send an acknowledgement to the DMA controller saying that bus has been granted. Bus grant. Okay, that is, it is just nothing but I've granted the buses. I'm not using these buses. I put my bus system in the tri-state. Now, Mr. DMA controller, you can control this transfer and you can have the transfer done. Okay, so that is the reply from the CPU. The moment DMA controller gets the reply from the CPU in terms of bus grant, immediately DMA controller will send something called DMA acknowledge. Okay, the moment DMA acknowledge is received, then peripheral device will start the transfer directly to and from the main memory. Once again, let us have completely a gist of glimpse of what is happening here. Peripheral device, when it wants to make a transfer, it sends a request to the DMA controller. Okay, saying that Mr. DMA controller, ask the CPU to release the buses. Okay, for that it uses a DMA request line. The moment DMA controller receives a DMA request, it is going to send a bus request to the CPU. It asks the CPU, Mr. CPU, please release the buses for a while because one of the peripheral device wants to make a transfer. Okay, the moment CPU receives this bus request, CPU puts the buses in the tri-state and then it is going to send something called bus grant. Okay, the moment bus grant has been sent, DMA controller says that yes, bus has been released by the CPU. You can go ahead in transferring the data by using DMA acknowledge. So it is going to send one line called DMA acknowledge to state that CPU release the buses. Okay, then peripheral device will make a transfer. This is how direct memory access exactly works. Now let us see the block diagram of a DMA controller, the architecture of a DMA controller. As you can see, the right side of the system under yellow color is showing you the block diagram of a DMA controller. Let us see how does it exactly work. Okay, this is the DMA controller. Okay, which has a few connections. We're going to discuss about these connections in a short while. Okay, and it uses 3 registers. It has 3 registers: address register, word count register, and a control register. There are inputs, that is DMA request. There is a peripheral device. That peripheral device sends a DMA request. The moment CPU releases the buses, the DMA controller is going to say DMA has been acknowledged to the IO device. Let us start the description of the DMA controller. Okay, now let us understand. Peripheral device sends a DMA request, means that the peripheral device want to make a transfer to the main memory. The moment it receives a DMA request, then the DMA controller is going to send something called bus request. Let us say there is a CPU here. Okay, here there is a CPU. So it is going to send a bus request to the CPU. Okay, so here the duty is, the moment CPU receives the bus request, the CPU should release the buses, right? Now hold on. CPU will not release the buses immediately. Buses will not be released immediately by the CPU. Rather, first of all, CPU will initiate a transfer. Why CPU will have to initiate a transfer? DMA controller is just a resource coordinator. That's it. DMA controller is not the boss. Still, the boss of every transfer is just the CPU. Okay. CPU will have to arrange everything for this transfer. So, DMA request has been sent and bus request has been sent. The moment CPU receives this bus request, first of all, CPU will arrange all the necessary things for this transfer, and then it is going to release the buses. Okay, so what are the necessary things that are needed to be done by the CPU? Okay, the moment CPU receives the bus request, it is going to communicate with this DMA controller by using DMA select and register select. The first 2 connections for the DMA controller is DMA select and register select. Okay, by using these 2, it will select one of these registers. It will use one of these registers. Okay, there are 3 registers: address register, word count register, and control register. The first data that is going to be transferred is to the address register. That is, CPU is going to transfer the address of the main memory location to which the transfer has been initiated. For an example, the current transfer has to be made to 450th location of the main memory. Okay, so in the address register, CPU is going to fill up the address in which the transfer has been initiated. Okay, after which CPU is going to fill the word count register. What is the word count register? Word count register will be filled with the number of words. Let us say in this case, 1000 words are initiated. Okay, let us say this peripheral devices, IO devices, keyboard. Okay, keyboard want to make a transfer of 1000 characters to the main memory. Okay, so for that, CPU will have to look at the starting address of the main memory in the address register. Then it has to transfer the number of words that are needed to be transferred to the word count register. And finally, it places an appropriate byte into the control register. if you can remember about the control register, if you could recall this control register will store the information to control the device, to control the peripheral device. And it is also going to record a few errors. Okay, the control register is going to have a control byte which is going to control the device. So appropriate control byte will be loaded here. For an example, printer has to be controlled. When a transfer is made to the printer paper should be moved horizontally and vertically. Such details will be filled in the control register. Every device will have its own control byte, because the way the devices are controlled are different from device to device, right? So the control register also will be loaded by the CPU. First, it loads the address register. Second, it loads the word count register. Address register is going to state the starting address of the main memory to which the transfer has been initiated. Okay, if it is an output transfer, from which the transfer has been initiated. Next, followed by word count register. The word count register is going to state the number of words that are going to be transferred in this case. Finally, the control register, how the device has to be controlled. Okay, so it will be loaded here. After loading this, that means that CPU has arranged. After all these loaded, which means that the CPU completely has arranged the transfer. Then it is going to say, yes, bus has been granted. Then it is going to send bus grant line to the DMA controller. The moment DMA controller receives a bus grant, it is going to say DMA has been acknowledged. DMA request, bus request. Then CPU arranges all these things, address register, word count register, control register, then says, yes, bus grant. The moment bus has been granted, DMA controller says, yes, DMA has been acknowledged by the CPU. CPU left the buses. Now it is your turn to make a transfer. Then the IO device will start its transfer to and from main memory. For every word transfer, address register will get incremented, because the first word will be loaded in 450. Second word must be loaded in the address 451, right? For that reason, address register will get incremented. During every word transfer, word count register will get decremented. You know that, after the first word, it will become 999. Okay. The control register will hold a data byte till the transfer happens. Okay. The moment word count register reaches 0, immediately this DMA controller sends an interrupt to the CPU, because the transfer has been finished, right? The word count register value becomes 0, which means the transfer has been finished. When the transfer has been finished, we need to let the CPU know that the transfer has been completed, and CPU can regain the control over the bus system. So that the moment word count register reaches 0, then an interrupt line will be enabled to the CPU by the DMA controller. Okay, which means that, Mr. CPU, the transfer has been successful. You can get your bus system back. You can take the control over the bus system again. So this is how DMA transfer will happen. Direct memory access transfer will happen. Hold on. Just a small thing to finish here about the logic of the block diagram of the DMA controller. As you have already seen, once after these registers are loaded by the CPU is going to release the buses. Till when? Till the transfer gets finished, right? But still, let me give you a complete idea here. That is, CPU can still watch the word count register. It's not that CPU completely left this. After releasing the buses, CPU will have to wait for an interrupt signal. Then CPU will enable the bus system, right? But actually, every time what CPU does is, CPU does not believe the transfer is going to happen smoothly. Because if the transfer doesn't happen, and if there are a few errors in the transfer, let us say, I'll give you a scenario. After 500th word, let us say keyboard stopped working. If the keyboard stopped working, remaining 500 characters won't get transferred, right? So at that time, word count register won't move at all. Unless the word count register reaches to 0, interrupt signal cannot be sent to the CPU. Got me? So in which case, CPU cannot regain the control over the bus system. For this reason, what CPU does is, for every now and then, CPU watches this word count register, though the transfer is happening. Okay, CPU watches this word count register. If the word count register is updating, fine, there is no problem. If the word count register stopped updation, which means that there has been an error and the word count register is not decrementing at all. Okay, in this case 500. So what CPU does is, it understands that the transfer has an error, so that CPU will regain the control over the bus system and reinitiate the transfer right from the very beginning. Okay, this is how DMA controller will work. Okay, so initially DMA initialization process is, initially it is going to set the address register, memory address for read and write, set the word count register, the number of words that are needed to be transferred, set transfer mode, either it is read and write. We will talk about the burst and cycle stealing. Okay, is the transfer from IO to IO, rather IO to memory. Okay, so this is how the DMA controller is going to act. Okay, now there are two kinds of a DMA transfers. In DMA also there are two kinds of a transfers. There are two kinds of a transfer. One is cycle stealing, and one more is burst transfer. What is the difference between cycle stealing and the burst transfer? Let us understand that keyboard, there is a keyboard, there is a main memory. Okay, peripheral device. Rather than keyboard, I will write it as a peripheral device. Now, upon granted the bus system, the peripheral device will make a transfer to the main memory, or to and from, right? Either peripheral device to the main memory or from main memory to the peripheral device, right? Try to understand why CPU is releasing the bus system. CPU releases the bus system. I will say relinquish the bus system. That is, CPU is releasing the bus system. Simply because the transfer can happen faster, right? CPU will be very happy to see the transfer will be more faster if the CPU intervention is avoided. But here, the problem is, if the peripheral device is a slower device, let us say the transfer has to happen in between keyboard and main memory. Why CPU is releasing the bus system? Because CPU is given guarantee that this bus system will be used potentially and productively by the peripheral devices. But the problem is, when the transfer has to happen from a slower device, this slower device, such as keyboard, is not capable of holding the bus system to its potential, using the bus system to its potential. Keyboard rate of transfer is very slow, depends on the user. For example, the maximum number of characters that you can type is 100 per minute. Okay, 100 characters per minute you're transferring. User speed, the maximum speed. Okay, but in which case, as you know that 100 characters per minute is very slower to the CPU, because every second itself, 1 second itself is capable of getting divided into 10 power 9 pieces, right? Okay, so it's a 1 gigahertz processor I'm talking about. So a keyboard cannot engage the bus system to its potential. Between character and a character, there will be a huge gap. So there is no point in leaving the bus system for a while to the keyboard. So what we do is, we will use a cycle stealing method. In the cycle stealing method, Whenever a slower device is requesting for a DMA, only for one cycle, bus system will be released. In the cycle stealing method, bus system will be released only for one cycle, which means that, of course, it is from the slower device. This one cycle is more than enough to make a transfer. Did you get it? So, which is called cycle stealing. For a slower devices requesting, for in order to handle the slower devices request, this DMA controller uses cycle stealing method. In cycle stealing, only for one clock cycle, this CPU buses will be requested, during which CPU will release the buses. At the end of the first clock cycle, CPU is going to regain the control over the bus system again. For only one clock cycle, it will be granted. Okay, what is burst transfer? Let me tell you. If this peripheral device is a faster one, let us say a disk. Disk is more than capable of engaging the bus system to its potential. So you don't bother about disk. Disk is very fast. Disk can engage the bus system. Disk can transfer tons of data. Huge volumes of the data can be transferred by disk. So whenever there is a request coming from the faster devices, the burst transfer mode will be used by the DMA. That means that CPU bus system will be requested for a while, not for only one clock cycle. Bus system will be requested as long as the transfer happens. Okay, this is what all about DMA method. Okay, as you can see.